Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing cannabis as a cash crop here in the Kingdom of Thailand. And there's been a lot of discussion on this. This is really getting a lot of momentum, I think. And honestly, if you want my opinion on it, I think overall, let me state, overall, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for Thailand's economy. I think it creates a comparative advantage for Thailand's tourism sector, as we'll get into here in a moment. And now, that being said, like I said with gambling and things when they've discussed that, there are upsides and downsides to this. There are pros and cons, and they need to be weighed very carefully. Do I think recriminalization of this is a good idea? Not really, not at all, in fact. I think it's a really bad idea. But regulation is fine, and I think it's necessary, especially in matters pertaining to, children getting a hold of this stuff, or as has been noted, pregnant mothers, warnings need to be given, and folks that are, underage or should not be taking this or ingesting this stuff, yeah, that should be dealt with and that should be regulated. Again, recriminalization though, at this point, I don't think it would be a good idea from any standpoint. As noted in other videos on this topic, even folks within the Ministry of Justice have said, look, it kind of is nice that we have resources that were being dedicated to that issue moved over to dealing with really hard drugs, which in my opinion is more of a problem for society, frankly, than cannabis will probably ever be. And to top it off, as we've discussed in other videos, out of nowhere, 28 billion baht in market capitalization just appeared in the last few weeks here in Thailand with respect to the industry surrounding cannabis. So at the end of the day, it's bringing in revenue, it's going to be bringing in tax dollars. Is recriminalization the answer? Probably not. In fact, I think it's far from it. But regulation, as we've discussed, not a bad idea. Now that said, how does this interact with tourism? I got to thinking of making this video after reading a recent article from the Pattaya Mail, pattayamail.com. Article is titled, Thailand Streets Ahead of Competitors in the Popularity Stakes. And a lot of information in this article. I'm going to quote an excerpt here, but for those who are watching this video, it's probably a good idea to go check out that article, read that in detail. Quoting directly, nonetheless, Thailand is now a trailblazer for tourist Asia. Whilst countries like Singapore and Malaysia retain the death penalty for cannabis trafficking, Thailand's liberal agenda is proving both attractive and cash savvy. As Anutin Charnvirakul, construction tycoon and Minister of Health, puts it, quote, we want Thai people to grow cannabis as a cash crop and to promote quality tourism at the same time, unquote. Casinos won't be far behind. Well, we'll see about casinos. But yeah, it's interesting, this notion of a cash crop. And as I noted before, we quoted that in another video, the 28 billion baht that just popped up overnight in market capitalization in this industry. I think that was in the Bangkok Post that they noted that. This is major money. And at the end of the day, Thailand is coming off some of the worst couple of years it's ever dealt with economically. As we talked about at the beginning of the year, Thailand's tourism industry is literally decimated, literally got knocked back to 1/10 of its size. And that represented 20% of overall GDP here in Thailand. So again, anything to help that within reason, obviously, anything that can help that though within reason is probably something that should be seriously studied. It appears to me that policymakers on this issue did actually study this for a relatively prolonged period of time. They came up with a lot of policy decisions. They implemented that policy, and now here we are. And I think it's hard to disagree with the notion that, especially economically, the proof is in the pudding. Again, 28 billion baht pops up in market capitalization just in a few weeks, literally over a summer. That has to be looked at for what it is, and that's a substantial gain for the Thai economy.